It started around 2:15 a.m. I was home alone. My roommates had gone away for the weekend, and I'd been enjoying the silence. Movie on low, lights dimmed, just me and a bag of chips. Then I heard it. A loud, deliberate knock at the front door. Not the casual knock of a neighbor. No. This was slow, heavy. I froze. No one had texted. No one had called. Who the hell knocks on someone's door at 2 in the morning? I muted the TV and sat there for a second, waiting. Maybe they'd go away. But then, another knock, slower, harder. I grabbed my phone and crept toward the front window, pulling back the curtain just a little. No one on the porch. The street was empty. I backed away, heart pounding. That's when I heard it. The unmistakable sound of the door handle jiggling. Someone was trying to get in. I ran to the kitchen and grabbed the biggest knife I could find. I didn't want to call 911 if it was just some drunk at the wrong house, but something about this, it felt wrong, intentional. I made my way to the back of the house. Maybe I could slip out through the back door and get to a neighbor's. But when I passed the hallway, I noticed something that made my blood run cold. The basement door was open. It had been closed all day. I was sure of it. I stopped breathing, just listening. From deep in the basement, under the house, I heard the softest sound, like someone dragging a foot across concrete. They weren't outside. They were already inside. I slowly backed away, every step like a lifetime. Then, the lights flickered. Once, twice, and the sound from the basement changed. Faster, heavier, footsteps. They were coming up the stairs. I bolted. I sprinted out the back door into the freezing night, barefoot, heart slamming so hard it hurt. I didn't stop until I reached the neighbors, hammering on their door like a maniac. They took one look at me, pale, shaking, clutching a kitchen knife, and pulled me inside. The police came 15 minutes later. They found muddy footprints on the basement floor, leading up the stairs and right up to the inside of the front door. But they never found the person who made them. And the really scary part? The lock on the basement storm doors had been broken from the outside. They had been waiting, just sitting there, under my house, listening. Angela moved into the basement apartment on a whim. It was cheap, too cheap for the neighborhood. But the landlady, Mrs. Weller, was kind enough, and the place was clean, just a little old. The kind of place that smelled faintly of damp books and peeling wallpaper. The first few nights were fine, quiet, almost too quiet. The walls were thick with decades of paint and insulation, muffling the outside world. It was on the fourth night that Angela woke to the sound of footsteps above her. She checked the time. 2:46 a.m. Mrs. Weller lived alone, and she was nearly 80. Angela figured maybe she was just restless, the way old people are sometimes. But the footsteps didn't shuffle or hesitate like you'd expect from an elderly woman. They were firm, steady. They moved from one end of the ceiling to the other, then stopped right above Angela's bed. She stared at the cracked paint on her ceiling, heart hammering, and waited. Eventually, the steps moved away. The next morning, Angela asked Mrs. Weller about it. The old woman chuckled dryly and said, "Sometimes the house settles funny at night." Angela didn't argue. Over the next week, more strange things happened. She would wake to the sound of breathing in the room. not heavy, but unmistakable. The faint, rhythmic sound of someone sleeping near her. When she would bolt upright and turn on the light, there would be nothing. The worst came one night when she found muddy footprints on her floor, bare feet. The prints led from her bedroom door to the side of her bed and disappeared. Panicking, Angela installed a cheap security camera in her room facing the door, just to prove to herself she was imagining things. That night she slept badly. Dreams of someone standing just out of sight, of whispers just under the threshold of hearing. In the morning, she checked the footage with trembling hands. At 3:12 a.m., the door slowly opened, even though she had locked it from the inside. A man's silhouette stepped in. He stood at the foot of her bed for nearly an hour, swaying slightly, before vanishing back through the door, which closed silently behind him. Angela moved out that day. Later, she found out from a neighbor that Mrs. Weller's son used to live in the basement years ago, before he disappeared. They said she kept the apartment cheap because he never really left. It was a rainy Friday night, and Emily was babysitting for the Coopers again. She didn't mind. They paid well. The kids were sweet, and the house was big but cozy. The parents had left around 7 p.m., promising to be back before midnight. The two kids, Lily and Max, were asleep by 9. By 10, Emily was curled up on the couch watching Netflix when she heard it. A knock at the door. Soft. 3 times. She muted the TV, checked the door. No one. Shrugging it off as her imagination, she returned to the couch. 10 minutes later, another knock. This time, louder. She crept to the front window and peeked through the curtain. A man was standing on the porch. He didn't look like a neighbor. Hood up, soaking wet. Just standing there. Then he looked up, right at her. She gasped and jumped back. The doorbell rang. Then again, and again. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Let me in. She backed away, heart racing. She called Mr. Cooper. Straight to voicemail. She grabbed the house phone ready to call 911 when Lily appeared at the top of the stairs, rubbing her eyes. Who's at the door? No one, sweetheart. Go back to bed. I saw a man in the hallway. Emily froze. The hallway? Inside? Lily nodded. The power cut out. The house plunged into silence. Just rain, wind, and the creak of old floorboards. Emily grabbed the flashlight from the kitchen drawer and turned it on. Her hands were shaking as she searched every room. No sign of anyone. She locked the kids in their bedroom and told them to stay quiet no matter what. Back in the living room, the front door was wide open. Wet footprints led in. They disappeared into the basement. Emily called 911, whispered her address. The operator told her to stay on the line. Officers were 4 minutes away. She crept toward the basement door, slowly opened it, shined her flashlight down, nothing but shadows and silence. Then footsteps, coming up the stairs. She backed up, holding her breath. Maya? A voice called softly. That wasn't her name. The figure reached the top step. It was the man in the hoodie, pale, soaked, shaking. He looked at her with wide, confused eyes. I used to live here, he said. This is my house. No, she whispered. You need to leave. I died here, he said. Police sirens wailed in the distance. He smiled, then vanished. By the time the officers arrived, she was curled up on the floor, barely able to speak. They didn't find any footprints. No signs of forced entry. Nothing on the porch. The power was fine. She sat on the couch, shaking, waiting for the Coopers to get home. At midnight, the front door opened, but it wasn't Mr. and Mrs. Cooper. A couple stood there, confused, holding grocery bags. "Can we help you?" the woman asked. Emily stared, stunned. "I was babysitting for the Coopers." The woman shook her head. "We've owned this house for 5 years. There's no one named Cooper here."